Hello people, and welcome back to another Unreal Engine tutorial. And for this video I will be talking a little bit about the climbing animation that I've been working on. The one of the previous videos I worked with these braced hang, shimmy left and right, and I had a lot of trouble with them actually. But eventually I realized that one of the animations, I don't remember exactly which one of them, but I believe it's actually I believe it's this one. It's hard to tell them apart, so you need to actually download both of them. But one of them has a little bit of rotation, so whenever you will have your character animating, the hand positions will be rotating. And on this one, it's not really visible, but eventually, when you get it into Unreal Engine, it will look terrible. So I spent a lot of time trying to fix that in Maya, and eventually gave up. And then I realized that one of them, and let's see, let's take an example. Hang on a sec. One of the animations, I think the right one was looking correct, but the left one, so I think it's the right animation is looking correct. It's not having any rotation, but on the left one it would have, and in this video I'm showing here, it's there's no rotation, so you will see that the hands stay quite aligned with the ledge. So I'm not having any IK nodes or anything to control this yet. I did make some tests with it and it didn't turn out too well, so I will skip anything about that so far. But what I did with the left one in order to fix that was to just download the right one. And if you take a look at the download options, you can you can set a check mark in mirror, and that will eventually make him crawl the other way around. So yeah, you want to download one of each and then see which one fits best. So that's a good advice if you want to make this kind of stuff. The last thing I want to mention before I skip to the actual stuff that I want to talk about in this video is that in order to get the character to align up with the wall, as I do now, may have noticed in the previous videos I didn't have the hands touching the wall, and actually they are not touching the wall, there's just an adjustment to the animation. So you can easily do this also in Maya, and you do this by, let me quickly show that. Just adjusting a little bit on the, I think it's the X rotation, but let's see, we have Maya here. Let's import the file. I think it's called animations right here. I have a lot of versions of this one, but let's take the not that one. This one. Let's take a look at this one. Yep. And then focus on the pelvis and go to the graph editor and the rotation X. Now if you zoom in on this one, you will notice that it starts at around 23. So what I did, if you want to recreate my animation here, is just to select everything and just a middle mouse and then slide it up to about starting at 18, I think it is. So 5 centimeters up. And if you pay attention to the character here, you can see he's tilting in space. So you can play around with these rotations yourself. Okay, So that's what I want to mention about in Maya. So what we also have here is now I've been remember I made a test for this thing, so you could keep the rotation towards something which was angled, and this obviously also should work on this one. Okay, so I ran into a problem when I came up with came to a wall like this, because then he could not continue. So if you see what he does now, he will actually try and follow that. And in a moment I will show the blueprint I have for this, and also added support for turning corners. And this is obviously something that needs a little bit more work, because the animation is going outside the borders, the edge. So it will, as you can see, if I turn it down a little bit, you can see the hand is kind of floating in the air, and it's making the turn. Right now I think he's actually, okay, there he goes. So this is definitely what I would call work in progress. So don't take this like as a final solution to handling this. It does look reasonable, okay, but well, it has some limits definitely. But it seems to handle right now all the angles I have here, so I'm able to climb both left and right, and it is I mean, he's not falling off the wall, at least. So let's take a look at how this is done, and probably in some of the coming videos I will return to this topic, because I think it needs some more attention. So I will just briefly mention what I did. If you've been following my other tutorials, you will know that I have this function I'm calling on Ventec called check climbing state. And I modified this a little bit, so some of this is actually the same, but I have this trace distance facing a wall. We've seen that one before. I didn't change anything here, but just to show what we have. Maybe this part over here where I say, okay, if we are facing a wall if we are not initially overlapping. I added this extra criteria just to make sure that if the trace starts inside a wall, I don't want to count this as we're facing it. But since this is not final, I'm not sure about this yet. Anyway, I just wanted to mention it. So inside this facing a wall, we have the local impact point, which is where the trace hits, and this is just the trace distance forward. The forward normal is, as mentioned before, this is forward normal of the wall where the trace hits. So we say if we hit something, if this interaction point, which is just a point pointing forward from the hip, if that hits, then we want to keep on going with the logic. Okay, so here's gonna happen a lot of stuff. So let's take them one by one quickly and see if I can explain this. First of all, I just I work with an array now, so I have a local impact normals, because I want to work with an average of the normals that I gather from a number of traces now. And if we also look at what we have down here, you will notice one very important key thing is that I have this get vector array average, which is taking an array of vectors and creating an average vector out of them. So whatever is getting added to this array of vectors, we get the average of them here. So I use that to align my character eventually. So this part and this part are quite important. Okay, so what else do we have in between here? Well, we have something with the climbing direction. If you recall from one of the previous videos, we have a climb direction saying that if we are climbing left, then this will be less than 0, up actually minus 100, and if we are climbing right, this will be 100. So depending on which direction we are actually moving, we want to do different things, and that's in a way the way I chose to implement this for now. So after we added this forward normal, which is the normal, I gather from the interaction point, then we proceed and say, okay, are we moving at all? If we are moving, if we're not moving, then we don't want to gather any more normal points. But if we are moving one of the directions, and then I will, in this video, I will only concentrate on the left one, because the right one is exactly the same, just opposite. So I have a left edge point, and I have a left corner point and a left mid corner point. So these 3 points I try to gather an impact normal from. Okay, I do this by using another function I made. This is actually a macro saying get wall normal, which are in turn using a facing wall, the one we've seen before. And it's taking the reference point, which is the point that we want to use as a reference, and then a trace distance, how long do we want to trace, and then this normal arrays is the array that we bring in. And I pass this by reference. This is quite important if you want to do this, because otherwise once I add the impact normal to the array here, if I don't pass this by reference, then it won't be saved again and visible from the outside, I think. At least that's how I understood it. So anyway, we check if we are facing a wall, and if we are, then we gather up this normal point, and then we just exit. I also have this impact point returned here. I don't really need use it for anything right now, but so you can actually just omit this. Just wanted to mention that, so you don't need this part actually. I don't use it for anything. I just forgot to remove it. Okay, so what it actually says here is, are we at an edge? So an edge is kind of if let's say this is a corner and our character is down here, then we move left and then we come to an edge. So this would be an edge. So we look for this edge point. And we do this by taking a look at the character, which now has a lot of new arrows. And the left and the right edge points are these. The red ones are the left edge point. So it starts, as you can see, 60 minus 15 and 0. And so it's pointing actually right. So when we look at it from this side, this trace will point to the right and will make a trace to the right. So if this hits something, then we know we are at an edge. So I say, okay, do we hit something? Are we at an edge? If we are at an edge, then I want to do this trace one more time and add it also. And you may think that this is double doing something 2 times, but I tried without this and it didn't really work out. So I have it adding this impact normal twice. So if I'm not at an edge, then I will say, okay, am I close to a corner? And and a corner is well, I can't really show a corner, but well, a corner is if I'm standing inside this position here. So I have a left corner now. So that will that's the trace I use for this one, and that point is the red one going right out here to the left of him. Okay, and you can see the coordinates from here, 0, 0, 0, with a minus 90 almost rotation. And the left mid corner point is, as you may have guessed already, it's this one, the orange one. So it's basically just pointing at some degree forward. I don't remember exactly why I don't have a minus 45 degrees. It may not have any influence at all, but anyway, that's the values I have right now. So I have similar values for the right, mid, and also one pointing the other way, the right edge point. Let's see, well, that's all I think. Well, you may also want to notice that we have different trace distances here, and I tried to play around with these, so you will notice that the left edge points are tracing very short, and the left corner trace is kind of in the middle, and the left mid corner is quite long, the one pointing left mid. Okay. One last thing is that I also changed this align character to wall a little bit. I had to tweak a little bit on this interp too. So last time I think I set it to 10, and if I change this to 10, back to 10, and try to climb again, you'll notice that he gets stuck. So it seems like this has an effect on the trace, if it allows the trace to effectively get to the other side and then allow the movement to continue. So I also tried with 5, so just taking it down to half of 10. And as I remember, it does seem to work better, but it still can get stuck a little bit. I can't really remember where, but, and 3 is kind of too low, so I ended up with 4. Excuse me. So I think actually that covers what I wanted to show in this video. If you have any questions, yeah, just leave it in the comment, and yeah, remember to like and subscribe if you want to keep getting updates on this. Also, if there is anything in particular in this this blueprint you want to have a deeper explanation of, just let me know and I'll try to explain it. Okay, so until then, I will take a break and post a new update once I have maybe found a better way to do this or figured something out. So yeah, have fun out there, and see you in the next video. Thank you.